And the Lord said to Moses, make a brazen serpent and hang it on a pole, and tell the people that whenever they are beaten by the serpent in the camp, to look up to that brazen serpent and they shall live. Now, this was at a time when the Israelites were traveling through the wilderness down to the promised land. At a point, they started complaining and murmuring bitterly against God. A serpent came into their camp and started biting them. And God told Moses to make a brazen serpent and hang it on the pole and tell the people to look up to that serpent on the pole whenever they are beaten so that they shall not die. Now, this is very significant. God told the people to look up to the brazen serpent on the pole and not to Moses. If they had disobeyed that instruction and had cried to Moses saying, please pray for me, man of God, please help me, man of God, they would have died for nothing. Now, John 3:14 and 15 tells us that that pole was a kind of Jesus' cross. Now, there is nothing that any man can do for you that Christ has not already done on the cross, my friend. So, one of the gravest mistakes you can make is to look up to a man entirely for the help that you need. You cannot afford to value your pastor more than you value the word of God. Your pastor cannot be more important to you more than the word of God. And how do you know that? You can know that if you are willing to queue up for several hours, waiting to see a man, and you can't afford to spend 30 minutes a day on the word of God. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong with going to your pastor for prayer or for counseling. But make sure you arm yourself first with the truth of what Christ has done for you, because that's the only way you are going to gain permanent victory. And when your victory finally comes, you are not going to see man as a source of your help, but only as a channel of God's grace. If not, you're going to be forming a co-dependency relationship with your pastor, in which case you're going to depend on him. Every time you run into a difficulty, you're going to depend on him to rescue you. And he, on the other part, will depend on you to make him feel anointed. So now the two of you are depending on each other, leaving God out of the equation. Can you see